the 10-2 time. Yeah, so I think we could do some questions now if anybody has some. I know Riley had one. Any pointers for a new working from home situation? My toddler won't leave me alone and I feel awful. Yeah, that's, I hear you. I worked from home when my kids were little and it was definitely a challenge. I mean, for sure, using the 10 minutes of really, really intentional time with them or with your toddler, before you need to be, doing an important work call or a Zoom call. I would definitely recommend that. You probably, I don't know if you'll hear a lot of parenting consultants right now saying, use the TV, but really, like, these are crisis times. This is all about survival. If you need to use screens liberally, go for it. Go easy on yourself. This is unprecedented, and I think a lot of the kind of best practices and rules are going out the window right now. So I know I don't have a magic tip for you, but that's kind of what I would recommend. So Amy asks, how do you recommend handling an 18-month-old that throws food on the floor during mealtime every single meal? So yeah, it's going to be, at 18 months, they're kind of learning cause and effect and what, looking for what is our reaction after. One thing I always encourage parents to do is to use a sort of natural or logical consequence in that situation. So, you want your toddler to see that when you throw food on the floor, it has to be cleaned up. So you don't want to punish them, but you want to teach them and help them you want to help them meet that limit. So if he throws food on the floor after the meal, you could just kind of quietly get down on the floor together, have him come next to you, bring the garbage can there, and just start picking up the garbage together, picking up the mess together. So that's kind of one way to kind of show that it's not acceptable. Another thing I would kind of want to ask is, maybe is your child not a fan of being constrained in the high chair? Is that maybe why he's throwing the food? Is he maybe being expected to sit at the table a little bit too long? Because at that age, 5-10 minutes is kind of all I would expect at mealtime. If you had him on your lap rather than in the high chair, would that help? So kind of just not being afraid to kind of be creative about helping them meet the limit and then having the natural consequence afterwards. Neela asks, will the 10-15 minute time help with temper tantrums? It can. Often tantrums, or what I like to call them, meltdowns, they happen can happen more often when our kids are, feeling sort of lonely or ignored or tired or hungry. Of course, there's all sorts of reasons. But if the reason is that they're feeling, lonely or ignored, then certainly kind of giving that attention up front will help reduce, meltdowns for sure. Ingrid is asking, how soon you have to start these strategies? My son is 9 months. Yeah, I mean, if you think of discipline as teaching rather than punishing, then you can start anytime, right? You can't expect a 9-month-old to understand a lot of things, but it's never too early to start, setting really basic limits and then help your child meet them. But again, at 9 months, there's going to be zero impulse control, lagging in many skills, just like verbally and motor skills and all sorts of things. So really having, you'd want to have very low expectations for your child and, doing baby proofing and the yes space and redirecting away from things are really going to be your best friend until your child's more preschool age and a little bit older. Riley, you're going to use the tablet. Awesome. I approve. You're welcome, Neela. Victoria is asking, bedtime is hard for my toddler. He wants to play and wants to stay up late. Yep, that's super common. It's hard sometimes to know which limits to enforce and which to kind of let go of. For my family and for the families I work with, I encourage you to make bedtime kind of a hard limit. I mean, you can be a little flexible, you can be creative, but sleep is just so important for kids. So if he's just wanting to stay up late and play every night, I guess a couple things I would look at. Is he maybe getting too much sleep during the day? Is he having too long of a nap? And maybe he just isn't tired. If you know he's tired, maybe he just needs a little bit of extra attention. So take that 10 minutes before your bedtime routine to do whatever he wants, and you may find it's a little easier for him to stay in bed. Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends what the root cause is of him wanting to stay up late. And I find with sleep, yeah, that's just one of those super important issues that lack of sleep can cause a lot of issues during the day too, and with behavior and all sorts of things. So it's definitely an issue that I would say, don't be afraid to set limits around that for sure. I don't see any other questions at this point. Oh, yeah, I got one more here. Avita, my little one has started clawing me and throwing herself onto the floor when she gets angry. She's 20 months. How do I handle that? So it depends on your child. So with some kids, you could, just be really calm, give her a hug, hand her blankie, offer a glass of water, and that can work. I'm guessing you've tried those things and it's not working. And so then I would say when kids are in that, what I called before, the vortex of frustration, they sometimes just really need our help to come out of that. Kids learn self-regulation through their relationship with us, in their relationship with us, which is why oftentimes simply giving a timeout isn't going to actually really teach them or help them self-regulate. So if she's throwing herself on the floor, clawing at you, hitting you, I would just basically empathize with her and say, I can tell like you feel so frustrated and upset right now. And then I would distract her. And again, it's all about your energy, the energy you bring to it. You got to match her level of energy, but in a positive way. So you're going to be really enthusiastic. You're going to try to move her focus off whatever she's melting down about, move her to another room, preferably, get her really engaged in another activity. Humor will be your best friend. Don't be afraid to use humor, tickling if your kid likes that. And then you can always talk about, the feelings again later if you feel like that would be helpful. Like, hey, I noticed you had a really big, you had really big feelings before. What was that about? But at 20 months, I would say focus on naming the feeling and then moving her focus off what she was melting down about. I'll do one more there was a question from Cheryl. Help, I need to get my son off a bottle. He's 22 months and constantly asking for one. Comfort, sleep, I can't stop. That's a hard one. Yeah, I don't remember now what the age is that dentists generally recommend getting off the bottle. But if this is something you've talked about with your doctor and they're pretty firm, like you need to stop, this is just going to be one of those tough love times, I think, where you're probably going to want to replace that with another sort of comfort mechanism, a blanket, a special toy, something else that maybe he can help you choose, or she can help. Yeah, he can help you choose. A special sippy cup, maybe. But yeah, again, this is kind of one of those limits that if you're concerned about, the teeth. My daughter had terrible teeth because she used her pacifier till she was like 5. I don't recommend that. And had to have, years of braces. So anyways, yeah, if that's a limit you want to set, I would say try to just replace that and then just be tough, mama. Be brave, because that's not easy to wean off the bottle. So I think we're almost out of time, but I just wanted to share if you guys have found this